My name is Dane Fitzmaurice. I got started with Vue.js working at my company where I am now, Little Arm Studios, through my own personal mingling and testing, working in the Atom text editor, that I happened to stumble across Vue. It was included in a library in one of the extensions I was working with, and immediately, I realized just how ergonomic the API interface was. For me, however, for where I am, a lot of the value was in self-validation in terms of I do have the knowledge base to be able to use the framework on this level, as well as to my coworkers. It's very important to me that my coworkers, anybody I work with, can have confidence in where I am in terms of my understanding of the Vue.js framework. So when I make a suggestion that might seem like an undertaking, they can have the additional confidence that I know how to guide them through the process. That if we need to migrate from this to that it's going to be fine, because I have a grounded, very thorough understanding of the framework. And so for me, and again, in my own personal pursuits, having that credential, especially coming from the same source, it feeds into the immense confidence that I have, in the quality of the package to begin with. So a few reasons there, but certainly the confidence that it brings to me as a developer now and going forward was huge. I found the exam process to be as smooth as I possibly could have desired it to be. I thought the exam was very well organized. I thought that the exam material did a very good job in preparing me for the exam. I think one thing that perhaps I'm not speaking for myself, but one thing that might inspire anxiety in other developers is the programming challenge portion of the exam, what exactly will that entail? Like, will I be able to bring my own programming or style approach to whatever platform it will be having me use to work on solutions to these questions? So certainly coming into it, that was something that I was a little anxious about. But I found that portion as well to be, particularly for what it was, to be incredibly well executed. From the way that the guidance was for the prompts, to the way that the actual IDE platform was implemented, it was smooth as butter for me. One particular thing that was really nice at the end was right before you submit and move on, to the next challenge, you get a series of checkboxes that ask you to walk through and make sure that you've actually properly addressed all the prompts in the challenge. And that was just the icing on the cake in terms of, okay, I need to go back and make sure one more time that I have addressed everything. So that to me is maybe minor, but was really nice to be able to have that you guys put in place, perhaps knowing how important it is just to, before you press the submit button, take a moment of pause to look back over what you've done and make sure things were in good order. So that I very much appreciated. When you embark on a development path that I've kind of taken, and I think this is similar for many other people, where you didn't necessarily have formal training, you kind of assembled knowledge as you went along, you naturally will miss things. Big things, small things, it depends on obviously the journey you take and what you're working in. There will be things that you miss. And for me, having a certification process, and this goes again back to the preparation material that you guys provided, that was particularly, that was part of what I was looking for, was to be able to not just take an exam, but be guided through, these are the types of things for a senior development role that you should have knowledge of going into it. And so certainly I encountered quite a few things that were new to me. Again, smaller things, medium things, but things that I hadn't really played much with. At the time, we were still stuck in Vue 2 land, getting ready to migrate over into Vue 3. And so while I had a series of Vue 3 projects, pet projects on my own, I hadn't really done a full dive into some of the more, specific aspects of that. So I encountered many of those features during the course of going through the material. And it was really nice to be able to go and round out the knowledge base of those API features that I did miss by not focusing specifically on those. So, I think sometimes you can fool yourself into thinking that, I have a great handling on X or Y, within this framework or that library, when you really don't. And so again, having a source that is directly tied to the framework I was interested in, that's certifying it, was about as much confidence as I could possibly ask for, in terms of again, being confident that I have the knowledge base to actually call myself a senior developer, much less act in that role. One thing that I found particularly awesome to have, and something that I know you guys put a lot of time into, were those the challenge quizzes at the end of the chapters, but also those challenge questions. Those were incredibly well devised, and a lot of time was put into them. So the advice that I would give to somebody is run through the practice material. Again, you should have complete confidence by the time that you have gone through that material, that you do have what it takes to do well on the exam and acquire your certification, or something specific, maybe something that that just missed a link between the content and the actual stuff on the exam. And the answer is equivocally no. I found, again, by thoroughly going through those sections, by completing those challenge questions, that it was extremely sufficient in addressing the types of questions you encountered in multiple choice, as well, and again, crucially, as well as the types of questions that would be asked of you in those challenge questions. So you should have solid confidence going into that exam if you went through the material and whenever it was recommended to you to go and read the documentation of this part of the site, and you've done that, you should have complete confidence in taking the exam, that you'll have what you need to acquire your certification. I think the certification will benefit developers in the future in a few different ways. Obviously, having a certification in Vue.js that comes from the creators of Vue.js in and of itself means a lot. The Vue platform, I think, has rightfully gained, the traction that it has over this time because of its quality, not just in the platform itself, but also the way it has been documented, the way it has been promoted. Evan Yu is fantastic in so many ways, but he speaks so eloquently and with great intent and direction whenever you hear him speak. And so there's already I think, a base level of confidence and respect in the Vue.js platform. So a certification in Vue.js coming from the creators of Vue.js, to me, has an incredible amount of value. Certainly, moving into this next stage of developers who will be on hiring managers on teams looking for younger talent. At least as far as I'm concerned, those are the types of things that would stand out to me, is someone having taken the time to go through and acquire such a certification. So certainly that, and then also, and again, this is personal, but it should give you an additional level of confidence in the work that you do. Certainly, career is huge and perhaps the most important. Credentials mean a lot, but also as a personal thing to give you pride in the work that you do, and that you do have the ability to create incredible things with this tool. That is worth something. I do feel that it has a tangible impact on the work I do when I sit down at the beginning of the day to create some components, or whatever it is that I'm doing, that I have a bit of hop in my step. And again, I think that bleeds through into the quality of the content that I'm creating. So there is, I think, a functional aspect to the value in such a certification, but also a personal one. And I think those two things can combine to really just improve the overall output of a developer. Certainly it has for me. One of the things that was very nice to encounter in my own personal journey was that there were certain aspects of the framework, specifically those that relate to Vue 3, that I had not spent a lot of time with, given where I was at the time in terms of migrating our various sites and applications from Vue 2. So that was particularly nice to have exposure to those things, as you would expect in a comprehensive run through of the framework and all of its various features. But yeah, other than that, it's just been more so underscoring the confidence that I have in the way I'm utilizing the various features that Vue.js provides. Being a senior certified Vue.js developer does mean quite a bit to me for a variety of reasons. One thing, though, in particular is, and I've mentioned this a few times here and there, but I have tremendous faith and confidence in, obviously, not just where Vue.js is now, but its future as well. I think Vue.js, because of all the various attributes, including its incredible quality, both in terms of its composition as well as its documentation, its community, and all the various things that surround it. Because of the quality of those things, I think Vue.js is destined to be one of the pivotal players in web development going forward. And so for me, having a senior level certification in such a platform means a tremendous amount. And not just personally as somebody who has a knowledge base in that platform, but also to the community at large, and to eventually these community members who spend all this time working in this framework, they will become hiring managers at some point, and they will be looking for others who kind of understand how to properly utilize the platform. Small things can make a difference in the way that you approach development in Vue.js, and that you're doing things as recommended. You're utilizing the program or utilizing the framework efficiently, and so certainly that's what I would be looking for. And so I think having a certification in that means a lot to me in validating those aspects, but also thinking forward in terms of what perhaps a future senior Vue.js certification holder, in terms of the value perhaps they might see. I think it'll be that people will be looking for those certifications, or certainly to see that you hold a Vue.js senior certification, again, issued from the makers of Vue.js for such a platform, will hold tremendous value and give hiring managers, teams, tremendous confidence that you will be a valuable part of the team, and that you understand kind of the broader philosophy that undergirds Vue.js and why it's done so well.